Hi, I'm Joy from thedeliciousrevolution.com, and I want to share with you today a letter that we got from someone in our community named Heather. She's from Portland, and the reason I want to share her letter with you is because she is talking about how she suffers from these intense carb and sugar cravings, and she's looking to make some healthier substitutions, and I think that's something that we can all do. But she had 3 very motivating reasons for wanting to make these changes, and I wanted to share those with you. She says, first, I'm a competitive cyclist locally in Portland, and I feel like I don't reach my potential because of my diet. I'm tired a lot. Second, I just had a baby. Congratulations, Heather. And I want him to grow up in a house of healthy food, not processed food. We want to make all his baby food, but that means we need to eat healthier also. Finally, I have a really sensitive digestive system that includes a lot of constipation, etc. And I think a change in my diet would help immensely. I have a suspicion that I am gluten sensitive. Okay, and she goes on to talk about how she's looking to make some healthier substitutions. So Heather, first of all, I want to thank you for sharing this letter with us and for writing in. And second, I want to congratulate you not just on the birth of your baby, but also for your dedication to raising him in a household where healthy foods are going to be what is served, because he's going to emulate what you do and what you eat. And the other thing I want to congratulate you on is looking for healthy substitutions for sugars and carbs and not looking to cut them out, because that will make you crazy. Sugars and carbs are a healthy part of our diet. The only thing that we need to do is make sure the quality of those sugars and carbs that come in are high. Those are high quality, nutrient dense foods that bring in other phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals along with the carbs and with the sugar. Carbs and sugar are a great source of energy. You're a nursing mother, you're a cyclist, you're a busy, powerful woman, so obviously you need to have all the energy that those carbs and sugar are going to bring you. So let me give you my top 3 tips for both replacing carbs with healthier versions and sugars with healthier versions. And here are my top 3 favorites. My first is to cut out pasta altogether with zucchini. Now I use zucchini or summer squash. I put it through a vegetable spiralizer. If you don't know what a vegetable spiralizer is, go on my blog, thedeliciousrevolution.com, and under resources you can see pictures of all the tools that I use on the site, along with links to where you can find them and how to use them. There's even video. There's a video on there called 5-Minute Dinner about how to make a quick dinner using the zucchini spiralizer or the pasta spiralizer. Excuse me, it's called a vegetable spiralizer. I make zucchini pasta with it, so I'm getting my names turned around here. But take a look at the vegetable spiralizer. Use it to get pasta out and more vegetables in. You can do the same replacement with rice. Get the rice out and use a minced parsnip, and whatever vegetable stir fry or whatever it is that you might serve with rice, you just toss the minced parsnip with that, and it works fabulously. Another trick for carbs, getting unhealthy carbs out and replacing them with healthy carbs, is to use raw crackers instead of regular crackers. Now, I know that may sound a little time consuming if you haven't tried much raw food yet, but raw food has great recipes for crackers. My favorite being the garlic rosemary cracker. That's on the blog too. The recipe for that's on the blog too. And you'll never have another Triscuit again if you try those. They are so amazing. They're super, super delicious. Now for bread, that can be a little tougher. So get out the rice with the pasta, get out the crackers with raw food versions of crackers. But for bread, that can be a little bit trickier because it's the consistency that's so nourishing and we're just used to it. And bread has a huge history with the human civilization, right? Breaking bread. It's literally something that we have in our verbiage as a culinary part of our history. So bread can be a little tougher. So what I recommend is taking that in increments. So move from really fluffy, floury white breads to denser wheat breads. And then eventually, if you could make the switch to something like an Ezekiel 4-9 bread, which is a bread made from sprouted grain. So it doesn't have any processed flour in it. It does have wheat. So if you truly are gluten sensitive, and that is the problem, it might not help your tummy troubles. But if it's really the flour and the high processing of the wheat, you might find that something like an Ezekiel 4-9 bread will really help you out. So I know I used to have terrible stomach pains from eating white bread, and now that I switched to an Ezekiel 4-9 and even usually I just use raw crackers instead, I don't suffer from that at all. So hopefully that will help you out too. So definitely move along the continuum: fluffy white breads, heavy peasanty, hopefully wheat breads, and then switch to the Ezekiel 4-9, and then maybe as your taste change, you'll actually enjoy the raw versions of crackers and breads, and you can sub those out altogether. So those are my 3 favorite changes for carbohydrates. Now, when it comes to sugars, my top 3 favorites are this. First and foremost, switch out all the processed crap sugars and replace it with whole food sugars. My favorite whole food sugars are raw honey, maple, and then dried fruits. Like medjool date is what I'm really hot on right now. But sometimes I go through white raisins or cranberries or actual fresh fruit instead. My green drinks in the morning I sweeten with just fresh fruit, a little apple or pear or even some grapes or something. So those are whole food sweeteners. Again, my 3 favorites: raw honey, maple, and fruit. And that is the most amazing healthy switch that you can make. Obviously, they're still sugars, so we don't want too much sugars running around in the body of any kind, but those sugars bring in other benefits. You know, the dates have fiber and they'll help keep you regular, they'll help with your constipation, they have trace minerals. I mean, that switch alone is enough in terms of healthy sweeteners. If you did nothing but that, you'd be making a huge step in the right direction. But let me move on to my second 2 favorite for sweets. My second tip for moving to healthy sweets is to have sweets around. Have brownies around, or cookies around, or sweeties around. Now that may sound crazy to someone who's trying to quit sweets, but the reason it works is because when you have a healthy sweet around. Now I'm talking about a healthy sweet, so a raw version of a brownie, or a raw cookie bar, or maybe some raw pudding, or I'll keep some ice cream or some fruit sorbet. And by ice cream I mean raw versions of ice cream. I don't even do dairy anymore. I love the raw versions of ice cream, and those are on the Delicious Revolution blog too, so I urge you to check them out. They're so delicious. You will taste it and you'll never want to go back. But have a raw sweetie around. When you do that, that way when you get a craving for a sweet, you go ahead and indulge, which feels good. It feels like you're spoiling yourself, but you're bringing these sweeties into your body that have other nutrient benefits as well. I mean, when I have a pudding that is made from the fat of avocados instead of the fat of dairy, instead of bringing all that cholesterol and nonsense into my body, I'm bringing those healthy fats from the avocado. So find some healthy sweet recipes that you like. I have a lot of them on the deliciousrevolution.com, and just keep something around and handy. The third and final tip I will give you on sweeties is to have a healthy sweet snack to go. Especially if you have a little one, you're going to be having a lot of play dates as soon as he's old enough, and maybe even just in your social circle if you and your husband socialize with your friends a lot. It's nice to go and bring a dessert with you, so that way when everyone else is popping the little Halloween-sized Snickers or something in their mouth, and you have a delicious, I like the Cacao Crispies, that's on the website too, and I just, instead of breaking them up into cereal, I keep some of them in little clusters, and then I just throw them in our diaper bag for my son Maverick, and we keep those with us, and when all of his friends are chomping on, Oreo cookies or something not so healthy, he and I bust those out, and we feel like we're having a treat too. He doesn't know the difference yet. I'm sure he will later. He loves them, he enjoys them, and we feel like we're indulging. So those are my 3 tips for carbs and my 3 tips for sugars. Please go to thedeliciousrevolution.com, use the recipes, sign up for the free ebook, Breakfast for a Better Body, because there's lots of great substitutions for getting sugary and carb-rich breakfast out and healthy breakfast into your diet. Heather, congratulations again. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll talk to you again soon.